there we are. Got it tidied up. Hi, I'm Dr. Ben Newman. I'm a coronavirus researcher. I currently have COVID. I'm not doing badly though. The Paxlovid seems to be working. So yeah, and the vaccine. I think more importantly. Yeah, but yeah, take all these things a day at a time, right? Yeah, so this is where we answer questions. And so the next question is an older one from Jennifer. Sorry I didn't get to it then, but still relevant now. So Jennifer's asking, what about this new variant? And since time has gone on, that variant is now kind of on the back burner, and we've got some new variants. So it's a fair question. The heck is going on with COVID, with SARS-CoV-2? This is how I like to keep track of it. It's not the most detailed way, but it is the best quick overview. And it's got nice colors and it just appears on your screen. It makes me so happy because it's so easy to use. So here you go. So I like this thing, next strain. Yeah, I'm pretty congested, so I can't say some parts of that word, but that's what you type in, and you get a page like this, and then you can go to either one of these two. We'll go to the latest with the GISAID data, and wonderful. And so what you see here this is the family tree with all the old variants over here. Everything that is completely extinct and has been extinct for like a year appears in dark gray. And everything that is more or less current or might still be out there appears in actual colors. So we've got this is the mega Omicron branch, all this yellow and orange and red stuff up here. And these are scaled by time. So as time goes on, you can see 2021, this thing may have existed, but where you have a dot means we actually have data. So we actually have a sequence, and we did not get a sequence on this thing for a long time. So it was growing. It was slowly diverging from a 20B-like lineage for a while, and then eventually some of the different roots of this thing took hold, and boom, now you see that if you were to look at last week or something, you see there's a ton of this stuff, and some of these other things. So the one drawback with this site is that if you just look at it, you say, oh, they're all Omicron, and according to the WHO, they are all Omicron, but we now divide these into sort of sub-Omicrons. And so these are the BAs, and the BA naming comes from a thing called Pango lineages. The nice thing, though, is you can click on any one of these, and it will tell you that it is a boom. And it'll tell you, so if it says BA1 or BA1 point something, it's what we would call just regular Omicron. And so you can do that with any of the little branches. And so this whole tree, all these yellows, are Omicron. So you can see that if we're talking about January, look at that. Mostly Omicron, little bit of this blue stuff, which is Delta, and just here and there, tiny bits of other stuff. And then as time goes on, Omicron is pretty much gone. And this new thing over here, this sort of yellowy thing, and if we were to click on that, we see, that's BA2. And BA2 point whatever. There's a BA 2.12, which is a direct offshoot of BA2. It's like the only version of BA2 that's doing well at the moment. And you can scroll down and you can see every single change this thing has. And there are a bunch, and as the virus changes more, it becomes harder and harder to say, it's this particular change that makes this particular difference. Because there might be one of those where we have an idea, and there might be 9 more where we have no idea, and so, yeah, in general, you cannot say. And then you got your other lineages. So you got your BA212, which is this guy right here. And you can see that one's doing fairly well, but kind of is really not that different from BA2. It sort of branches off of BA2 and, yeah, not really doing anything different. But then you got your BA4 and 5, which are these two. And I don't remember which is which, but we can click them. And okay, so that's BA5 is the darker orange. And so this is going to be BA4 up here. You can see BA4 and 5 are all the latest hits. So yeah, if you're wondering what's out there right now, if you're going to be exposed to something, which is it going to be? It's going to be one of these BAs. It's probably not going to be the original BA1 Omicron. Small chance that it's BA2, but real likely it's going to be BA4, BA5, or maybe BA212, which are these guys up here. But look down here. There have been the odd case of Delta still kicking around. So this is in Algeria, yeah, which there's probably not a lot of sequencing that goes on there, I would imagine, just because in general, there are a couple sequencing hotspots in Africa, and I have not heard any of those associated with Algeria. So I'm glad they're doing sequencing there, or somebody's doing sequencing there. Good, yeah. But yeah, weird. This is like a dinosaur. There's still a little bit of Delta fairly recently. So interesting, very interesting. Not good, yeah. Because that gives another lineage from which this thing can diversify. Terms of what makes this virus different, it is still I think this one's about well, there you go, 71 changes, or 70 changes. That's decent ballpark. 72 changes. So 72 changes out of 30,000 changes is about 99.8% identical to the original version of this, which is not very different. Yeah, it's nowhere near as different as like flu A and flu B would be. Those are much more different, very different. And so these are mostly things that we give different names to, but there's not a big difference in how they work. The difference seems to be that there are enough changes in the spike that these Omicrons and BA2, 4, 5, and 212, they are pretty good at getting around existing immunity to vaccines and to previous infections. And so they are going in and reinfecting people who have already been infected. And with the new variants, it's the same story, but more so, if anything. We just keep selecting for viruses that are more adapted to growing in humans, which some people would look at that and say, oh, well, good, it's adapting to meet us. But no, it's adapting to grow better, to punish our intracellular immune system that would try to stop the virus. It shuts that down more effectively, and it squeezes more viruses out from each infection. It's a pro-viral change and a kind of an anti-human change. And that is, I think, kind of the only change you can ever expect. I'll make a separate video about that in just a moment. But yeah, so that's what's going on. A lot of BA4 and 5 out there. And as I'm infected right now, I'm in an interesting position. So I'm one of the few people that will actually probably be able to find out exactly what variant I was infected with. I'll probably be able to read out the entire sequence just because I will be involved in the process of doing this as soon as I am well enough to be to allow myself back into work. The state of Texas, I believe, says I'm perfectly allowed to be there. Yeah, they can't keep me out. But at the same time, I think self-restraint is an important quantity that has been lacking to some extent in the COVID pandemic. So there you go. I'm going to try to restrain myself. All right. I think that's enough for this one. Thank you very much. And Jennifer, I hope it answers your very belated question, and wish you all the best.